Simon, the FA have reportedly declined a request from FIFA to make Gareth Southgate available for interviews at half-time during England's World Cup matches.
Good job too.
It's felt that half-time interviews would create unwanted distraction.
Absolutely right.
At a potentially crucial time for the manager. Well, Gareth doesn't fancy it, but others do. A number of leading managers of other nations have agreed to make themselves available for interview.
But who?
I'll tell you who. France's Didier Deschamps. Didier Deschamps is saying, oui, it's a good idea, and I'll do it. So Deschamps going to do it at half-time. He's up for it. I think in general terms, I think, is it not down to the discretion of the manager? Say for talking's sake, right? England take on Iran. To any Iranian supporter this morning, don't mean to offend you, but say England are cruising at half-time and it's 2 or 3-0 England. What's to stop Gareth saying, yeah, it's going well? Yeah. What we might do in the second half is X or Y.
And then you've got this backdrop that will only do it when things are going in the right direction rather than the wrong direction. And it's intrusive, it's invasive, it's unnecessary.
Well, it's not intrusive or invasive if they agree to do it.
Well, if they agree to do it...
Deschamps says it's not intrusive.
Well, look, if Didier Deschamps said running down the Champs-Elysees and your underpants with a row of onions around your neck is a good thing to do, when everyone else has got to do it as well. The bottom line is I think these are key... I mean, come on, lads. This is the key time for a manager to be affecting an outcome. I want him in the dressing room.
Gurning journalist,
I want him,
as opposed to a highly respected broadcaster.
Okay, that's a very short list. But the point is that I look at it and say, you want your manager, so when does it stop then? When does it stop, this need, this thirst to quench the flames of necessary information for broadcasters?
You keep telling us the broadcasters drive the game.
Of course they do. They pay for the game. They drive the game.
Well, give them what they want.
Give them what they want. Give them what they're entitled to, not what they want.
What's up with the halftime interview?
Give them what they want. Well, give them what they're entitled to. Who owns the game? What is the game about? It's not about the broadcasters. The broadcasters make money out of it, and it should be kept to some parts of it.
All right,
sacrosanct.
England-Wales at halftime over in Qatar. It's 2-2, and each nation's had a player sent off. I want to hear from Gareth.
I'm sure you do. Because you're a broadcaster at your heart, and you can see the value of it to a broadcaster.
Of course,
I don't see the
viewer.
I don't see
the listener.
I don't see the value of it to the football team and the football manager. I'm only interested in what Gareth Southgate's going to do in that dressing room, insofar as I'm interested in Gareth Southgate's full stop. I'm interested in the fact that team's going to come out and put on a performance in the second half that's not based upon the performance I saw in the first half. So I want to see him in there affecting outcomes. Now, I know, having had managers in dressing rooms, that ultimately most of the time it's a load of old nonsense and the team decide themselves how they're going to play in the second half. But there is this exception.
There you go then. So it's not going to be to the detriment of the team having a half-time interview,
But I don't believe that the more you give broadcasters and the media, the more they'll want.
Of course.
And the more they'll require, and the more they'll tell us that that's what they need. And it's not about what they need. It's about what's best for football. And if we believe that a manager... Because there'll come a point...
How often have you got to half-time and you've been sitting in one of those swanky pubs that I know you go to up in, Chelsea Harbour, and you say to one of your mates, I wonder what the manager's saying to them at half-time. Well, now you'll know.
And you really believe that you're going to get the insight. Well, he ain't going to be saying anything to him because he's too busy talking to you, isn't he? Nonsense. He can't say anything. I'm too busy talking to the media. Lads, sit in there. I'm too busy talking to this journalist in front of me that wants to ask me questions.
How long is he going to
get clicks?
How long is he going to give the broadcaster? 45 seconds? So he's had his team talk. He's on his way back out to the technical area.
And you know,
Gareth, how are you going to change it in the second half?
I know that's going to bring out a reaction. That's going to have managers talking to you when they're winning. Not when they're losing. What's the point of that then? We can all sit there and turn and hear when someone's winning. We want to hear about the adversity of a situation. You're not going to get it. It's a waste of time. It's not necessary. And it is pushing the envelope. It is this idea of cameras in dressing rooms, cameras in dugouts, cameras in here. Wonderful for the broadcaster, not so good for the game, I think.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.